0415. Eastern Time, Atlantic Ocean, aboard a US Navy destroyer somewhere off the eastern seaboard. In the dim red light of the Combat Information Center, a row of sailors stands silent. Each console hums. Below deck, steel tubes hold America's most reliable long-range weapon, the Tomahawk cruise missile. Range, over 1,000 miles. Speed, 880 kilometers per hour. Payload, 450 kilograms of precision-guided persuasion. And now, Washington is considering putting that power in Ukrainian hands. On October 12, 2025, President Trump confirmed what had been whispered for weeks. The US may approve Tomahawk transfers to Ukraine, possibly through NATO channels. No direct handoff, at least not yet. But even the hint was enough to rattle the world. Trump's reasoning? Simple leverage. If Russia keeps bombing cities, he said, Ukraine deserves the tools to stop them. His advisors framed it as deterrence, a show of capability that could force Moscow to the table. But in Moscow, it triggered rage. Putin was livid. To him, the Tomahawk isn't just a missile, it's a symbol of US reach, precision, and dominance. He saw it as the West creeping closer to Russia's doorstep with weapons that can pierce its heartland. At 0600 Moscow, Sextile time, an emergency session of the Russian Security Council was called. Defense Minister Shoigu, Chief of the General Staff Gerasimov, intelligence heads, all present. Screens filled with satellite imagery. US destroyers in the Atlantic and Mediterranean shifting positions, likely prepping for contingency support. Putin's voice was low, controlled, but dangerous. He called it a qualitatively new stage of the conflict. He accused the United States of testing red lines with arrogance. He ordered combat readiness drills for strategic missile units and increased bomber patrols near the Arctic frontier. He knew the numbers. A Tomahawk launched from western Ukraine could hit Kursk in 9 minutes, Belgorod in 7, even the outskirts of Moscow in under an hour. To him, that wasn't a hypothetical. It was a countdown. Russian state media moved fast, framing the plan as an act of aggression. Anchors thundered about US colonial ambitions. Commentators warned of a new Cuban Missile Crisis. The word retaliation echoed through every channel. Meanwhile in Kyiv, Ukrainian military planners were already sketching scenarios. They didn't need many Tomahawks. Even a dozen missiles could paralyze Russian supply routes. Each one can navigate through valleys and radar shadows, hugging terrain as low as 30 meters off the ground. Their Tercom guidance system compares live terrain imagery to stored maps, enabling pinpoint accuracy without external signals. No GPS needed, no satellite dependency, no easy way to stop it. That's what made Putin furious, the physics of it. Tomahawks exploit curvature, radar gaps, and time delay. They glide under the horizon, invisible until impact. Even Russia's S-400 air defense struggles to hit low-altitude targets moving unpredictably. Every Russian commander in that briefing room understood. Their best defensive network could become a museum exhibit overnight. Within hours, Dmitry Medvedev joined the outburst. He issued a public warning, his tone icy. The moment an American Tomahawk is launched from Ukrainian soil, Russia will treat it as a direct act of war by the United States. He then added what analysts called the most dangerous line. Our radars cannot distinguish a conventional Tomahawk from a nuclear one. That statement changed the tone entirely. It wasn't just about Ukraine anymore. It was about nuclear ambiguity, the idea that a single misinterpretation could trigger mutual annihilation. Back in Washington, Pentagon analysts reviewed the risk matrix. Their conclusion: Putin was not bluffing. His anger wasn't performative, it was strategic fury. He wanted to remind the world that escalation could come at light speed. Still, the Pentagon saw the upside. Tomahawks could cripple Russia's airfields, fuel depots, and command posts beyond the front. Unlike attack EMS, which strike hundreds of miles, Tomahawks reach thousands. They're slow but precise, the scalpel of modern warfare. Some in the administration believed even announcing the transfer would deter Russia more than firing them ever could. It was the threat of precision that mattered. But Putin's temper did not cool. Over the following 48 hours, Russia's Tu-95 bombers began training patrols near NATO airspace. Submarines in the Northern Fleet reported new orders, and near Belgorod, anti-air batteries shifted to high readiness. In Russian military doctrine, anger is not just emotion, it's deterrence. Putin's fury was theatre with purpose, to make Washington hesitate. Yet in private, Kremlin insiders described him as genuinely enraged. He felt personally humiliated that Western leaders would even consider arming Ukraine with a weapon designed to outclass Russia's own cruise missiles. He viewed it as an insult to his legacy, a reminder that Moscow's technological superiority of the Cold War era was gone. Meanwhile, Ukraine's position hardened. Zelensky publicly praised US resolve, saying, "If the world fears escalation, Russia will always win." That comment hit Moscow like a slap. Within hours, cyber attacks spiked across Ukraine's digital grid. Power stations flickered. Internet services stalled. Putin's rage was turning kinetic. European capitals braced for fallout. Germany and France urged restraint. Poland and the Baltics, however, voiced full support, calling the Tomahawk proposal the only language Moscow understands. Analysts now describe this as a threshold moment. The war has seen artillery, drones, and air defense systems, but never a weapon that could reach into Russia's strategic depth. The Tomahawk changes everything. Putin knows that. He's furious because, deep down, he sees how close his army has come to its limits. A handful of precision strikes could disrupt Russia's entire logistics chain. Years of build-up, undone in days. And yet, one fact remains. No decision has been made. The Pentagon evaluates, NATO debates, Moscow fumes. But everyone understands. Once the order comes, there's no undoing it. The world's most stable weapon could become its most destabilizing. So the question stands, will America pull the trigger on history's next escalation? Or will Putin's anger, his threats, his fury keep the Tomahawks grounded? One leader's rage, one weapon's reach, one decision away from rewriting deterrence itself. Bye for now.